So I'm just going to count it down here, and it looks like we're ready to go. He's in white, it looks like. So, you ready, Orphine?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Smurf! Let's see how much delay I have. Okay, just a few seconds delay. So this is the first run of the marathon. This is Rollin Marathon 4. I don't know if anybody here is new, or it looks like people are just going to have to start rolling in, so I'll have to keep people posted with what's going on. We're pretty. I'm pretty thankful that Hellfoes did decide to do a run for us, because he at first said that he wasn't really feeling the game, but here, so he's in Spiral Mountain. He's got to get these. This is a 100% run, so he has to collect all these honeycomb pieces here, and that's the first part of the game. So, shoutouts to everyone rolling deep. Fire it up! Banjo Kazooie is a very technical game, and Hellfoes is a very talented speedrunner, if I would say so myself. When I first stumbled across Hellfoes, he was running Wind Waker for the GameCube, and he was doing it at a very high level. I think he was 3rd place at the time. I don't know what's happened recently on the leaderboards, but he's a very good speedrunner in general, and this is a very technical game. It's a 3D, speedrun, where a lot of, the runs you'll probably see here on Super Nintendo and whatnot, and 2D, but adding that third, dimension, that aspect is very challenging, and cranks up the difficulty in the speedrun. So here he's going to try to get the bottle skip. We'll see what happens. And he nailed it. So if you're on a specific pixel there, like, it doesn't trigger the bottle text sequence to come up, and he was able to skip that, which is very nice. Another thing that I should note here is that he's using the Furnace Fun setup, and this was a skip that was found, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. And what that skip allows us to do is, it's sort of like it's kind of like a New Game Plus aspect, but it's allowed in the 100% run. It's a glitch that with a previous file, whatever moves you've learned, you can retain them on another file if you set up a death warp in Furnace Fun and you die during a mini game during Furnace Fun, and then when you start a new file, all of the moves will, right when he gets into this level here, so he busts out the Talon Trot, he's able to use all those moves. And I mean, that's kind of a controversial thing. Like, in some other games, they may not, say that, or they may just consider that New Game Plus altogether, and it is noted on every run if you use it or not. So it's sort of a exploit to the game that it's not like seen in a typical 80% run on like other games. It's a New Game Plus sort of aspect. And then with the Talon Trot, I would say it's easier to get up this mountain here, but there is another method that was without the Talon Trot that was done before, which is kind of like using the shadow to make sure that you roll off and get all that. Spiral Mountain, or Mumbo's Mountain, is a very quick level, and there's not a whole lot of depth to this level. It's just it's a very small area, and you're just collecting all 100 notes and Jiggy. So unlike Banjo Tooie, all the notes are going to be single notes, And in Banjo Tooie, they group them up into groups of 5 and 20 that you could also collect. But in Banjo Kazooie, all the notes are in ones. And yeah, Rollin deep. So there's going to be a lot of interesting tech in order to try to skip that fanfare when you collect the jiggies. And you're going to see one here where he collects the 5th and final Jinjo. He's going to try to jump into the water. And what that's going to do is, like when he's in water, if he jumps up, he will he'll be able to skip the animation because when he's in the water, it doesn't trigger that fanfare, and that fanfare plays every single Jiggy if you collect it normally. And there's really no way around it situation. But yeah, so Hellfoes did in the previous marathon, in Rollin Deep Marathon 3, he ran the same category, same game, had a bit of a rough run, so I consider this a redemption, a chance at redemption for him to clutch this one out and have a much better showcase here. I'm rooting for him, but the game is extremely rough and does not give a fuck. If you're on a good run or not, it will just fuck you over. And another thing to throw out is that if you do die at any point in the level and you have not collected all the notes, you will have to recollect them all. Starting from the beginning, the game resets all of the notes that you collect, which is very, very difficult. Like it's not like friendly to new runners in that sense, or like people picking up the game, because in places like Rusty Bucket Bay and in places where it's really easy to die, you just lose all of your notes and then you have to recollect them, and it's just a big pain in the ass, and it loses a lot of time, and it causes quite a big headache because you have to like plan and think out ahead of time, like. Okay, so let's see if he gets this actually. Yeah, so he skips the fanfare there by fluttering in the water. By collecting that last, because like the fanfare is set to play out, but then when you are like midair and jump in the water, there it just cancels that out, and it can also be canceled out in flight, and then whenever you are in a Mumbo transformation, any Mumbo transformation, it doesn't play the fanfare. So those are all things that we try to exploit when collecting Jiggies, because the fanfare lasts, I don't know, like 5-7 seconds. It's a long fanfare. So he's heading into Treasure Trove Cove. This is where it really shows between higher level runners and newer runners, and also you'll see he's talking to Brentilda there to fill out the Furnace Fun calculator. And what that is basically at the end of the game, there are grunny questions that are completely random, like they're completely different every time you play the game, and you're supposed to talk to Brentilda to find those out. And some people just kind of wing it and just guess and fill it out when they get there, and just hope and pray. I mean, because it takes time to stop to talk to Brentilda, but it's definitely recommended in races or a marathon setting to do that, because you can like die in Furnace Fun, or you can just have like the worst time in Furnace Fun. But what I was going into saying is that Treasure Trove Cove is where you can really tell like if somebody's movement's good because there's a lot of flight movement in this level, and it's very tricky and very difficult to do optimally. Like you'll lose like a minute or two like on top level runners just based on movement alone. It's pretty crazy. Another thing is there's the Mumbo tokens, which are routed out to collect the Mumbo tokens that are most convenient and along the way. Like unless you forget one or something and then have to go out of your way for a slower one, they're all routed out to be the ones that are most convenient. There were like a few newer skips, and I'm not sure if we'll be seeing them here, that were found, I think, involving the bee and like some of the note door skips and stuff like that, but you know, that's like when I stopped kind of paying attention to the game, so we'll see if he does any of that. I'm pretty sure he does do a few clips as far as getting into Freeze Easy Peak early and some other things. So here this flight movement is pretty critical. Getting that jiggy without, like, during flight and then not losing flight within that chest is actually really hard to do. A lot of times, like, you'll mess that up and then you'll have to go back to the flight pad, and it costs like at least like 30 seconds or something if you miss that. And then if you don't get that jiggy in flight, you have to have the fanfare of getting the jiggy. You're also seeing a lot of water drop, like instant water drops, and that has to do with releasing the Z button during challenge shot at a specific time when heading off of a ledge. So right there, he got that jiggy while in flight, and he's gonna do a beak bomb at the top of the light tower here, get this jiggy during flight. That one's also pretty hard to get, the one on top of the light tower, without losing flight, so there's some pretty impressive stuff we've seen from Hellfoes so far. And a couple minor mistakes, but definitely a solid run so far. And here with Snippet, the crab, you're able to clip inside of him and just hit him like within him, and that has to do with when that text box is triggered with Banjo and Kazooie there, it enables, there's a window of like invulnerability, and then you kind of just clip in, and then you're inside him, and then you can just hit him without having to wait for him to do his claw cycle. Like he'll use his he'll do like a left and a right, and then you can get in there, and then you have to wait again and hit him different times. Another thing to note is that he's taking damage intentionally to set up for a death warp towards the end, and once you collect everything, you death warp, you maintain everything you got, and it'll take you straight to the exit. And in some levels, this one in particular, when you collect the last jiggy, you can skip a fanfare and the sandcastle and save some time getting to the exit. And it's another thing that's kind of risky, because if you die without getting the jiggy or something like that, you have to reopen the sandcastle, and that's a big pain. So there's a lot of like things that save, you know, 5 or 10 seconds that can cost you like minutes in this run. But all the like top level runners will always go for them. And this flight movement here is what I would call the most trickiest part. You have to grab those notes, and he just missed one, which shows, I mean, how difficult this segment is. Oh, so there he lost flight. He tried to do a beak bomb out to that honeycomb, and you want to maintain flight. Then you want to come back around and pick up that Jiggy later after the Jinjo, because you don't want to collect that Jiggy right away, because there's sort of like an animation that plays when you collect the last Jinjo, and if you collect the Jiggy, it'll force you to kind of wait out that animation there, and so now he's kind of forced to, like, either he goes back to the flight pad, which is a big waste of time, or what he's doing, what he is here, he's got to do get these two Jiggies without flight, and then like a fanfare. It's a lot slower, and he also is at 1 health right now, which, I mean, it's where he wants to be to set up for the death warp, but at the same time, if he gets hit by like any of these spikes, I mean, I should probably just let him focus here. Like, when he was jumping inside that chest to grab the 4 or 5 notes in there, the teeth on the chest will hit you for damage, and he had like 90-some notes, and had he had died there, like, he'd have to go back and recollect all the notes, and that would be probably a 4 or 5 minute loss. I mean, it's like, and speedrunners just like seem to just live like on the edge. Like, even in a marathon run like this, like, it's just like, okay, let's just do it, you know? Like, he didn't even think to pick up health or like stop it. So I mean, that in itself is, you know, the definition of Rollin. Here is the death warp, which he got, which is very nice. They can show that off. It's something like that. Crab, he has different movement, and he'll just be all over the place, and sometimes he'll just give you like some of the shittiest movement. And when he death warped, he did not have to play the animation of getting the Jiggy, and there's like a final animation. It has a different sound effect when you grab the 10th and final Jiggy, and it does like this really long fanfare, and then so you skip that, and on top of it, just takes you straight to the exit where you need to be anyway. So it's a big deal. I'm pretty glad that he got that. And here in Runny's lair, you're gonna be going to a lot of cauldrons and well, not a lot of them, but specific ones that will save you time, because there's shortcuts that will warp you from one cauldron to another, and there's specific ones that we use that are convenient. Like, there's some that are just completely useless, because it's like, it doesn't even save any time, and it costs time to go activate them and whatnot, but there's the bigger shortcuts that take you from the beginning to the end. Like, that one takes you to what's the last one? The Quick Clock Wood area. He missed the jump there, and that's a really tricky jump too, and you'll see a lot of runners practicing that one to get on top of the pipe without having to go this route. You can just jump right up, and then you have to come over here to grab those, but it saves time having to fall down and then climb back up. It's a very precise jump, and like, I can't really fault him for not getting it, because it's very, very difficult. There's another, like, pretty much frame perfect jump that I can guarantee you he's going to be going for here, and it's a jump from like the top part onto a pipe, and it's like frame perfect, and you have to do a ground pound or a beat pound or whatever in order to gain a little bit of height to get the jump, like to hold on to the pipe. If he gets it, that's gonna be worth you know, I mean, it's a little bit early for shots and all that, but that's going to be worth some celebration there.
Got a question from the chat. Do the skulls count for 100%?
So that's been like a controversial thing, and there is something that exists called max percent Banjo-Kazooie. It's a meme category, and it's because and the reason why Mumbo tokens are not counted, like they don't count for 100% is because it doesn't come up on your inventory screen. When you go to view totals, there is no total that's displayed for your Mumbo tokens, and there's no use to collecting more Mumbo. The only thing Mumbo tokens do or allow you to transform into creatures, but there is something called max percent that's out there, and it's like a category extension to this game. And what max percent includes is basically the same thing, like 100% here, but you also have to collect all the Mumbo tokens, and you also have to get the double health upgrade at the end. And I mean, that's pretty much the only difference. And the thing is, like, collecting those Mumbo tokens is just a big pain in the ass. And I mean, it's similar to Link to the Past. I mean, I hate to bring up that game. It's not a very good game, but it's similar in Link to the Past that you have fairy fountains that give you extra, bomb upgrades, but you don't do that in a run because you have to collect like 1 billion rupees to get those upgrades, and it's such a pain in the ass to do that it would make 100% just daunting and a very terrible category. So it's just something that the community just decided. I mean, and it's not in the view totals, and there's no reason for collecting them more Mumbo tokens that you don't need. It'd almost be like oh, we need to collect every egg that's on the floor here. We need to collect. I mean, it's just that ridiculous. And I know there's like a Ocarina of Time thing where they have like somebody's done a run where they open all chests and set all like. I'm not sure what that run was called, but it like only one person's done it where they open up all chests and they collect all they do every single thing that you can do.
All permanent flags or whatever.
Yeah, so like they open all doors and do like it's really weird. Like it's a similar idea to that, and max percent. It's just an extension category for people who feel like Mumbo tokens should have been a part of Hunt. So here you go. I missed it. So that was a frame perfect jump there. The one I was talking about from up there to that pole, you have to do a ground pound in order to gain a little bit of a height at the end of that, and it'll just barely like perfectly grab it. Like that's frame perfect. That is something Josh would just orgasm about if he got that. Because all the frames would be 100% perfect. All flags. It does exist, and people have done max percent runs of this. So I mean, if that's something you're interested in, it's out there to launch. So Clinker's Cat, there's really nothing too dangerous here, except for like the loss of breath or bubbles. If you can't get like the bubble at the, there's really no risk of dying to. I mean, you can drown. Exclusively towards the end, you try to drown and then warp back to the beginning. And if you don't collect the extra honeycomb piece at the end and drown, you'd have to come back and get it. That would cost maybe 2 minutes or so. But there's nothing that's really like super devastating that will destroy your run. There's obviously little movement things and little tech that saves time, and you'll notice it, from watching a good player of this game and watching a beginner or a novice or intermediate. Like all different skill levels will show in this game. Here you're able to not use the gold feathers for invincibility, and there's like a certain line, like there's a specific path that you take there to avoid damage and having to use the gold feathers. Because first of all, the movement's slower when you're in the gold feather mode, and it's way faster when you're in Talon Trot, and there just so happens to be a way that you can get through there without taking any damage, and it's 100% consistent. Rolling deep with the sub. Shout outs to Zera. I have to check how many subs we have. We have a goal. Yeah, we have this as well.
Wait, so for 25 subs, you'll lift weights?
Yeah, live and uncut, raw.
What kind of exercises did you have planned?
Some hardcore, heavy, heavy duty, very, very sensational workout routine here. Okay, so there he is able to egg that green crab while standing where the Jiggy was going to spawn, so basically he starts the animation as soon as possible, and because there's like an animation for the Jiggy to pop up, and he's also grabbing the Jiggy when that's happening, so it's, a lot of times in this game what we try to do is override cutscenes with one another, and you'll see that time after time again, where basically if two cutscenes are playing at the same time, you're saving a lot of time because you're not, you don't have to watch them individually. It's a big deal, and you'll see it on Running, you'll see it in other places. But yeah, this is when the more exciting parts of the run start to come. But after Clinker's Cavern is a bit slow, obviously swimming in any game is slow, and it's just a slower part. So here right at the end, he has the potential, like newer players, if they don't know what they're doing, they will drown without collecting this honeycomb. It really has to do with movement and people just not understanding the movement in this game, because for the longest time I didn't even know how to swim properly. If you push the shoulder button, you have more like you're able to make wider turns in the water, and like for the longest time I don't think I even knew that, and I was just like making all these tight movements, then having to like stop swimming and then stop and turn, and if you hit the shoulder button you can make much more.
Yeah, everybody should learn how to swim.
Right, especially Super Mario 64 runners, because they got dire docks and whatever swimming level. I don't think Darkwing Duck has been under the water, but he stays on top of it though, so. So here, I'm pretty sure this is the Freeze Easy Peek early clip. So you're going to be seeing a clip. It's an out-of-bounds clip during flight, done with a beak bomb. And basically when you get out of bounds, you're able to get behind doors into worlds that will take you into the world without having to go and open them up. So you don't have to take the time to go put the puzzle pieces in. So hopefully he gets this. Yeah. Oh yeah, rolling deep. I'm pretty hyped about that. That was a really good clip, actually. Very well done. Like I've seen Civvy Bobo fail that, so I mean we got the better speedrunner confirmed. Because what happens if you're not in the right spot, you will just beat bomb right onto the floor, and then you'll have to go back up and get the feather, and then you can just get like in a cycle of not getting it, and it's just the most frustrating thing. So to see him get that like so clean and so like very nice, very nice. I hear just by like standing off screen, the enemies don't show up or something like the. I can tell you get on screen, so you don't have to peek attack them or whatever, and you just sit there and wait. It's kind of like a little wait, and it's a nice little buffer in your run where you just kind of wait it out, take a nice little break. So again, a lot of flight movement that is really tricky to do, actually. This has all been very clean. He's turning it up a notch. Hellfoes is just going in. So he grabs that Jiggy while in flight, but lands. So he grabs the Jiggy still in flight to avoid the cutscene or the fanfare. Freezy Peak is one of my favorite levels, actually. This in Mad Monster Mansion. And also, I mean, I haven't really experienced any of the frame drops because I'm watching Hellfoes stream and it's been clean. So yeah, you destroy all these snowmen, and these are like pretty precise peak bombs actually too. If you get too close, he'll start throwing a snowball, then he'll have this like invulnerability state. So you don't want to get too close, and if you're far away, like it's, I mean, when you practice a lot, you can get those shots pretty much every time. And then you also want to peek bomb into Mumbo's hut here, like perfectly. She just did. That one's the tricky part for me, is getting into Mumbo without hitting the ground and just falling on your face. I'm not sure what Hellfoes' plans are for the future. It sounded like he was coming to the end with Banjo Kazooie, and I'm not sure what game he's going to pick up next. But I don't think he's going to be running this for too much longer. He has run it for quite a while though, and he has a very impressive time for, considering that he's one of the only ones that's like within, what, 10 minutes of Stivity Bobo. This part's also very, very tricky. And what you do is you collect these notes, jiggies, and mumbo tokens while in this race, and it's tricky for people picking up the game because if Boggy gets too far away, he will tell you that you're going too slow and that you basically fail the race and you have to restart it, and it costs a lot of time to fail this race. You also risk, like, towards the end of it, you can lose it. It has to do with a rubber banding effect, though, so the farther away you are from him, the slower he slows down, and if you're way ahead of him, he'll, like, just catch up all of a sudden. Like here, he's grabbing these notes and that mumbo token like right at the end of the race, but he knows he's gonna be able to catch him, and it's like very tight. But when you're jumping uphill, you gain a lot of speed, so it may look like you're done for, but all of a sudden you just catch up at the end. So it's definitely scary for newer runners to do those, to grab those. But it saves a good amount of time because your movement speed's faster on that than you are as a walrus. And this has been a very exquisite Freeze Easy Peak. I'm feeling it. Zara the man knows what it's like to have those dank emotes. He's got the Gay Smurf Beacon emote, which is absolutely a legendary emote. And he's got that high quality option. So, obviously falling off the snowman at any point would be a very bad thing, but that's never gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, I hope you're enjoying this run. This is the first run of the marathon. There's plenty of runs coming up. Lots of excitement. This is a run that I was pretty hyped about that got in sort of last minute, and Banjo Kazooie being, you know, a game that got me into speedrunning, so I think it's, you know, it plays a pretty good role in this marathon. So I mean, altogether, I've been speedrunning about 8 years now because I started late 2010. And like ever since then, I've kind of been doing little projects, and then it just got into Twitch streaming. And, Banjo-Kazooie, like one of the reasons I think it became something I was intrigued in speedrunning is because when you go to view totals, you can check all of the individual level times, like in-game times that you got for the levels. So it'd be like a sweet challenge to see how low you could get those times. And like, I mean, at the time I was like picking it up back in 2010, it was pretty like underground, like there wasn't really much on the internet, and speedrunning really wasn't like as mainstream or like a, you know, big deal as it was to a large margin of people. It was sort of like a quiet as kept, like low-key thing. And so a lot of people had to come up with their own strats, and I mean, that was a very interesting time in speedrunning, like back in, like, prior to 2012, or I mean before 2012 or whatever. People would have to, like, come up with their own stuff, and then, like, it was later that people started coming together and, like, joining up with, like, what their like putting strats of their own together and just seeing what's faster and, like, doing all this, like, timing and all this technical stuff. It was, I know, like, when I first, I did do, like, segmented levels of this game at one point, trying to get the best level, like, ILs I could get. And that's when I was actually doing stuff on emulator and, like, I was, like, save stating before each level and then trying to, like, just kept repeating each level to try to see how low I could get the times, but none of that, like, came close to anything like City Bobo would do in the future. Pretty irrelevant today. Here, it looks really scary because you're, like, one hit away from death, but it's just enough, like, you just jump right at the right time before you die, and then you actually want to be at 1 health so you can death warp there on that ice cube. I know it looks scary to a lot of casual, like, viewers and stuff like that, and then you see that the door's still closed, but you can walk out of it on this side. It doesn't, like, block you in. Here we go. Aw, shit, he didn't get it this time. It did look a little faulty. That angle looked questionable. The first time he did it, like, you could tell he was lined up. That one, he was a bit, like... That's unfortunate. Yeah, that looked good too. It has to do with, like, just being in the very far corner, like, where that. So I think he wasn't all the way down in that, like, there's, like, when all those, like, that hill sort of comes to a stop at the bottom, and you want to be, like, the very bottom, but still be in flight. Like, I think people pull it early a lot because they don't want to land, but you have to be, like, pretty far down to get into that clip, so it's not easy. So I can't. Right, I mean, I can't fault him for feeling it's not an easy, like, clip. I mean, you know, people like Stivity Bobo or whatever make it look easy, but so here he's gonna get a D-boost from this fish here. It's pretty easy. I was able to do that too when I ran it. It just skips you from having to go on that lower platform. And he's opening up Mad Monster Mansion, which is my favorite level of the game. I like the spooky music and environment. So how you feeling? How are you pumped up for this Super Metroid run after this, Fiend? You got boy Jack ready to roll this one out?
Yeah, I think Jack's gonna do really well.
Yeah, definitely. He's not gonna cough all over his controller, is he?
No, but if he does, we'll probably be able to hear it.
Rollin into Monster's Mansion. Pretty sure he opens up Gobies as well before heading there. But yeah, things have definitely come a long way, and like, it seems to be like things are still being found every here and there. I mean, we've had door clips and stuff like that, like note door clips that have been found that weren't there like too long ago. I mean, it just kind of happens like in a lot of these N64 games, like a lot of these like 3D games are just a lot of buggy stuff that goes on, and you know, people are always just looking in every corner of the game trying to find something new. So, Mad Monster Mansion, this is where it's at. So I mean, he knows what he's opening, like what he's doing, like he's opening specific windows, barrels, and stuff like that. He's going to the ones he needs to that have requirements like diggies and a couple Mumbo tokens, and he opened up that window previously so that when he gets the pumpkin, he can go in there with the pumpkin. I mean, I just really like this level.
Did this level scare you as a kid?
No, I was just group moving and grooving to the spooky music. I was fearless then, and I'm fearless now. So get at me. He just zips right in there and grabs all the notes. I like that room too. I like doing that room. Because you grab that one note like without even having it on screen, just like, yeah, man. Here, I mean, this is kind of, it doesn't matter how fast you're moving, like, it's not like you have to slow down. He did go for, what's called, like, you'll have, if he got that skip, basically he would have the Jiggy in his hand while in Talon Trot right here, and what would happen is he would entirely skip the fanfare there and all that. He might, I don't know, he might have got it. It looked like he was fanfare. I may have been maybe outdated on this. And this labyrinth is really cool because you're avoiding those ghosts and grabbing all the notes, and then at the end of it you're getting on this honeycomb hive and jumping over, like, over the gate. You're not supposed to be able to get in from this side, but he's gonna, oh, he was up there. I hate that. I hate when you get up there but then you fall. That's happened to me a bunch of times too. And then you're hitting that poison, the vines up there and taking damage, but here you're trying to get in all these eggs in the pot without like getting disturbed by these graves.
Disturbed.
But yeah, I really like this. I mean, just the strats in this, like everything. I just love this level. And it's not like, you know, a run killer like Rusty Bucket Bay. Like, Rusty Bucket Bay is a cool level, but it fucks your run up, man. Like, especially at the end of the run, to have, like, it seems like the further in you get to in this game, like, the harder the game gets, like, in a speed run, and it's like the more risk you have to take later in the run, and that's a big reason why it's a really hard speed run, because like you can be on the run of your life, and then it's just like you get screwed by Grunny, quite like Inferno's Fun, or you just die in Rusty Bucket Bay, or you just can't get a clip in Click Clock Woods. Like it's just like ridiculous how difficult some of the later game is. It is interesting now that we do like Bubble Goop Swamp at the end because we used the B, we were able to take the B in due to a note door clip. And memorizing the piano is a big deal too. During my later runs, I finally decided to memorize it. I was pretty stubborn about learning this because it, I have short-term memory, and I smoke a lot of weed, so that whole memory thing's not so good. But I eventually ended up learning this as well. You can, you don't have to wait, in a casual playthrough, you have to wait for the hand to show you what buttons to hit, but you can just go ahead and override that and hit the buttons that without waiting for them. It's like preset the same buttons every time.
Have you ever considered not smoking weed?
Yeah, I haven't smoked weed for like 2 years now, but...
Whoa!
But if I'm going to HDQ next year, I will definitely be sparking it up! And here, this looks pretty scary because he just falls right off the top and he can die and he can lose all of his shit, but this is all calculated. Like, if he doesn't land on that bench, church bench there, he's fucking dead, and then he has to collect all the notes again. So if you don't, that's a very precise sort of drop. Spark it up! Yeah, I don't know what these, Link to the Past players are talking about here. It's a really bad game.
Link to the Past got 2 runs in the marathon, though.
Yeah, I wonder whose dick they had to suck to get that in. Whoa! I mean, Tsubasa Sakura knows all about that, right? Yeah. Whoa! Hey, what are we doing? Just posting fucking nude pics of, you know, Ethan in here? What the hell?
Why are links banned?
Because, I mean, you know, I don't want to look at these porn sites.
I don't believe that.
I mean, what are these, straight porn sites? I mean, what do we do? I don't watch that. Come on. So this is the end of Mad Monsters Mansion, my favorite level. He fucking nailed it though, this is a really clean level. Basically, you ended as a pumpkin here and you grab the final Jiggy and the rest of the notes and do death work. Death Ward Pipe? Okay, and then right at, you reset a specific time here. You don't want to do it too early or else you actually soft lock the game, where that button is pressed but the water is not raised, and you don't want that. But that water remains raised when you reset there, and it just so happens to be faster than turning back into the pumpkin and then going back into Mad Monsters Mansion. Then, or I don't think you have to go. You go in the back. You just leave as the pumpkin, and you just have to slowly bounce all over the place. And besides, we have to do some things towards the beginning of the game because we unlocked some of the, it hit some of the grunny switches and unlocked some of the jiggies in the lair that he has to pick up anyway, so he kind of has to go back here anyway, so it all works out.
What did you get out of the fridge?
So, like, are you gonna be able to wake up tomorrow, Rafine? What is it? I don't know what time zone you're in, but...
What did you get out of the fridge, RPG?
I cracked open another beer.
Oh, are you making sure to stay hydrated with water, too?
There's 60% water in this rolling rock here.
Alright.
It's like 6 in the morning for me when the mirror, and I want to be there early to set things up.
Well, I was awake in time today, wasn't I?
Yeah, which is pretty late, man. Well, I guess you could take a nap during Bassmasters Classic. I mean, I was going to discuss the Rollin Deep tapes and all that, but I'm sure, you know, you'll just sleep through that anyway.
Have they made it to the sun yet?
I was going to go over the Rollin Deep philosophy, and I was going to discuss what I think about the sun, you know, destroying all the rolling deep tapes potentially, and how we're going to
Make an escape plan with the satellite.
How would the satellite carry people?
Well, you see, I mean, as seen in Evo Search for Eden, which is code for 46 billion year story.
There's a satellite in Evo?
Well, bottom line, Evo Search for Eden is a story that, you know, is based around 46 billion years. So, I mean, clearly, you know, if we've gone 46 billion years without rolling deep tapes, you know, we've had quite a breakthrough.
So what you're saying is we don't need them if we've gone 46
What?
billion years without them?
You know, go back into your corner over here. This is that's radical. Yeah, this is Gobi's Valley, and you'll be seeing some camera manipulation as far as getting to those getting those rings to appear so he can jump inside them without having to get the flight. And Gobi's Valley is a pretty interesting level too. Got pretty interesting tech. What? We're unable to verify. Fuck everything. So, an interesting thing is there with that flight pad and what used to be a thing is if you didn't have the beak bomb, you could get it there with that flight pad, and that, like, basically without flight, and that flight pad would still be active and able to use. Because what we do in the furnace to get furnace 1 set up is we don't learn flight, and we don't learn gold feathers or eggs because we want the ammunition from the bottles. So it's like you kind of not having flight pad, but that flight pad is actually active even without learning flight, which is an interesting thing. I'm sure he got Gobi clip, but everything didn't really scream with the excitement when he got it. I guess he wasn't as impressed as most people would be. This part is pretty difficult. They're going through that cactus while in flight, and then he didn't remain in flight when he got that Jiggy. He actually wanted to remain in flight there and skip that animation fanfare, and then he wanted to use the flight to get over here. Getting up this pyramid is, I guess, hard for some people because
you have 20 seconds to get up there, and you have to collect all the notes, or else you'd have to come back up here again and grab the notes that you missed. So like if you miss a note or something and you're like really struggling to get to the end, and you have to make some pretty tight corners and jumps to get up there. Here, you can skip the maze here if you can get up on that ledge. He barely got up on there with a little peek back there and almost fell. Like, there's kind of like, there's a certain spot on that wall that allows you to like get up there with the talon trot, and otherwise you just slide right off, but there's like one spot in particular where you can get off another jump, and you use that to get on top of the pyramid, and it's pyramid. One thing is like sometimes the camera angle can be pretty rough to work with, and you can fall off there. There is a backup to it. There's another spot where you can get up on the pyramid, but you know, nobody has to want to see that backup in their run. Specific ways so he gets the jiggy locks. And like I said, you want to avoid flight to get into these rings, and so he's able to go through that there without having to get up and fly through it. Pretty sure you grab that for safety, but at least it's not a vaginal snake heart. And it's interesting that he canceled out that. Got it again. I think he did that for safety because when you're in that speed shoe state, you don't have to, you don't get a fanfare for the jiggy, and it does save a lot of time to do it. But he had to do because he had a rough time with there, like because most people don't cancel that out. I don't think, and they just keep going. But that was interesting. And he has okay. Yeah, he got the health because he wants just enough to not have to use gold feathers here, and conveniently death work at the end. So right here, like he's vulnerable. Like if he's don't fucking do me like that. Oh my gosh, like that pound at the end too. I mean, if you were to fall in that quicksand, there, and I was just about to say, like, that's a pretty steep slope, and if he falls off, and then it was like, whoa! I'm slipping a little bit. If he were to fall into there, he would have had to recollect all the notes, which means he would have to go in all of the buildings again, like, you know, like the the labyrinth again with all the notes, and he'd have to go into all that. He'd have to redo all that to get the notes. That would have been a 5 to 6 minute loss, and I mean that's just like, I mean that's if you can handle it well too. I mean like if you just get baffled of where the notes are, and you get to a situation. Well, you get the situation where like you're not, because you don't want to go back to where a jiggy is that doesn't have notes, but maybe it does, and then you're like, you know, you have this situation where you're like, well, what do I do? And like if you can't find a note somewhere, you can just get into a situation where you just, you know, you have 99 notes and you're looking for one and you don't know where it is, and that's a great feeling to have on a run. Thank God he did not fall into the sand. It was, he made me sweat a little bit there. Oh, there it is, finally. Maybe it'll work this time.
We cannot confirm your authenticity, Godfather.
I mean, I'm selecting cars right now in a recapture, so oh man, I'm not a robot.
Oh, they've got you selecting cards or cars.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. That's not the right code, because. What? Like, did somebody hack my account, man? I was in there last night and it worked on the first code I put in there. Now I'm questioning whether I have to wait another 10 minutes for another code because I keep asking for it. But like, what am I supposed to do? I think somebody hacked me. I think Miss Haunter just hacked me.
She solved the captchas better than you did.
Like, it's to the point where I'm at to fucking contact with. Now, I wanted to go in there, and then that way I could adjust Nightbot a lot easier, but I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to say go Hellfoes go all marathon. I don't think I can do it with this account. Like, I can't switch commands. Oh, thanks, Vix, for the Rollin deeps. Yeah, I'm not even a mod in here. I can't do shit.
Does this part make you fear for your life, RPG?
Well, I mean, he's made it past the easy part. Now he has to get the clip, which is oh, insta clip. What? That is bonkers. You got the insta clip, Overfiend. You fell in the water. That was not part of the plan. He did a little pause there.
Pause, unpause.
Hey, he got the insta clip though. I mean, he's God gamer. Just you know, he just kind of fell in the water is all. I wonder when he's
I
gonna
don't know
get
how fast that is, but it sounds pretty fast.
I wonder why I didn't get the Jiggy. Like, why is he going over here? I didn't see him grab the Jiggy in the ship. I mean, time's running out, Everfame. You got 15 seconds here. Are we gonna death warp on the blades? Or did he grab the Jiggy? Am I just high?
Are you?
I didn't see him grab the Jiggy, man. Maybe he did right away.
Well, the Jiggy just popped up at the bottom. Did you see it? RPG?
I'm baffled here. I'm sorry.
Is baffled the word of the day?
I mean, I didn't see him grab the notes on top of the ship. I saw him fall. I saw him pause. I didn't see him grab any Jiggy there, but you know, I mean, I also didn't see anybody hack my account, and somehow it seems to be a thing. So,
Who do you think could have done it?
Whoa! Can you gifted Haunter a sub? Whoa. A gay Smurf peeking going on. I don't know, like, I think I'd have to log into my account to see how many subs I have. I mean, that's kind of a problem.
Should write a letter to Twitch about that.
I mean, that was a while we had like 12, but I don't know. I don't think any of those were gained. So, I mean, from the count of things, we've had 3 or 4. Oh, whoa! Whoa! We touched the bottom there. Whoa! You got a little too stoned in the green water there. It's not ganja oil, man. It's acid. You might wanna.
What kind of acid?
Not take a bath in there. I mean, the kind that disintegrates your body when you fall to the bottom of it like that. Sure, he burned a few of the bear hairs off of his chest with that one. Sure, Kazooie is fluffed all out of feathers. Yeah, this is the Rusty Bucket Day, Rusty Fucket Day. It's, doot doodly dee 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 dee. I'm sure Joe D'Amelio's doing just fine on the farm right now. He's milking those cows, I'm sure.
Oh, is he back in Iowa on your farm, taking care of the cornfields?
Well, I mean, either he's you know, a farmer now, or he's you know, he's on a submarine attacking you know, hostiles from.
Hostiles.
I mean, he must be on a submarine with no internet access. You know, grinding Super Castlevania right now, underwater attempts.
You think he performs better underwater?
I will find out when we find the hidden footage. You know, we're gonna have to go diving for it, but I'm sure it'll be worth it.
I think there's some rolling deep tapes under the ocean, like Atlantis.
I think there are hidden Joe tapes under there for sure. I mean, what other explanation is it? He's in a goddamn submarine right now. Going to war with some fucking, you know, Brazilians or something. Oh, here we are again in our favorite room. Like, oh god, yeah, he didn't grab the jiggy, and he's falling off. He'll stumble. Here we are again, Overstein. We're going into the. He didn't get the jig. I don't know why. I told you. Why
Well,
would he not?
hopefully he hears you this time.
Ah! Woo! Wow! He got insta clip last time. I'm sure he's got it on lock again. That was kind of scary there, Overfiend.
Well, yeah, can't those blades push you off?
Yeah, you can fall to your death, Overfiend, and then I don't know where he's at with notes. I mean, I'm sure he's got them all, right? I mean, but I don't know why he didn't grab. He like he swam right past it. And, oh, well, we're gonna stay inside there. Whoa! I mean, only 50 more seconds, then maybe he might get chopped up a little bit.
Do you want to see him get chopped up?
No, I wanted to see him have a really, really good run, but I can't really say that this, you know, Rusty Bucket Bay has been, you know, on top level here. What? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Yeah, what happened, man?
It appears he got pushed off into the water. Yo, he got out.
Oh, here's the security code from, you know, I asked for about 20 minutes ago. Maybe this is the one. Nope. Nope.
Are you having to match more street signs together, RPG?
No, I'm just straight up getting told that the code's not right after I just got it on my phone, so I don't know.
What are you trying to do exactly?
Log in to an account on Twitch. I know it was rocket science, but especially when I did it last night, like first try with no problems.
The Godfather account?
No, Rollin Deep Marathon.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I want to go in there and switch Nightbot commands and whatnot for one, and I switch. I don't know, the title would be maybe easier on there, but you know, I can't even do it from this account anyway. So I can't do anything.
Well, we don't really have to change much on the fly except for the game, so it's not that big of a
That's what
deal.
I'm saying, the game, and that's, I mean, they can dishonor to be done. Nightbot's in there, which is good. So he's setting up for a death warp here, and he's gonna die once he gets to this honeycomb, and that's it for Rusty fucking day. I mean, last night wasn't taking like 20 minutes to get the message, and then I think when it gets there, it's like expired or something, and I cannot tell you why it's doing that.
I can't tell you either, RPG. It sends it to my phone, like, immediately. Like,
Right, it used to do that. I mean, last night I'm pretty sure it wasn't a 20-minute delay.
Have you tried uninstalling and reinstalling?
I think my phone said something about a SIM card though last night. Maybe that has something to do with something. Oh, look, there's sawdust all inside my phone.
Sawdust in your phone?
Yeah, I used to chop wood all fucking day.
Well, yeah, just it's still kind of funny.
But it's inside. It was actually like all inside there.
That might slow your phone down a bit.
The SIM card looks to be scraping paint a little bit. It's interesting. So he's opening up Click Clock Woods, and what he's going to do is get the bee and take the bee back to... Bubble Goop Swamp, which he was supposed to do fourth. We used to do it fourth, but now we can just go through as a bee.
Is that your phone's ringtone?
Yeah, it's from 1998, so... Oh, look, a message immediately popped up this time. Oh, this might actually
Nice.
be right.
Help to remove that sawdust.
Oh, wow. Yeah, let's see if this works, actually. I gotta click on some more cards. Oh, street signs.
Maybe some crosswalks or some storefronts.
Oh, select all the sidewalks. Form. they're up in their they're up in this shit, man. Select all the sidewalks. I don't know. Nope, still didn't work. Guess the Rollin deep tapers locked up in a safe now.
Question from the chat. How do you even get sawdust in your phone?
Well, I put my phone in my pocket. My pocket was full of sawdust, lots of it, and it was just sort of jiggling around. And I mean, they got my pocket because I had to pull off sheets of 1 by 10 by 16, and I mean like 16 feet, 1 by 10s, and like from a top shelf. I also had to lift up 2 by 10 by 12s, and it was mainly the 1 by 10s just had a lot of sawdust on it, and so I've had sawdust showers like multiple times. I mean, like all in my hair and like all over my shirt, like all over, like everything just sawdust all over. But I mean, it got me in a good shape because I was lifting, you know, multiple sheets of those at once, like off, and they were like really long, heavy pieces of wood. But yeah, I mean, it was just a common thing where I would just, like, I'd have to reach up, like, probably 10 feet high to grab a piece. Like, I'd have to lift my arm all the way up, and then, like, sort of, like, shimmy a piece of wood off of a shelf, and then, like, when it comes down, it's just, like, full of sawdust, and it would just be, like, sometimes it would just, like, get all over me, and then... I mean, you know, and then I get fired because of a wood situation. And I mean, it's just...
Sorry, I laughed because
it's not funny. I don't bank money anymore.
I know the situation isn't funny. Just calling it a wood situation is pretty funny.
It was wood related, is how I got fired.
I mean, it was wood related. Question from the chat. Did you get some sick calluses from working with wood?
Calluses? You mean like fucking arthritis and carpal tunnel? Hell yeah, buddy.
No, like, do you get like the bumps on your hands, on like your palms and whatever, that are like your hand strengthening itself by reinforcing the skin? You know what I'm talking about? Calluses.
No, that's a big one.
Okay, I guess the answer is no then.
No, my hand. No, the only thing I have is fucking arthritis.
Question from the chat: have you heard of a scaffold?
No, you know what? Our management just leaves us down there and never comes to the floor and just expects us to do everything, and we're just like, there's basically hardly, like, there's like 1 day of training and they basically say, yeah, you need to do the work, man, and then you're out there doing it, and they don't have like any like organization. It's just like, yeah, man, we just need to pump out these doors, man. Yeah. And, well, I mean, it's like the fucking Stone Age back there, man.
So
And then, I mean, it's the same place where my boss just comes over. Hurry the fuck up, guys! Come on! What the fuck, man? Get those fucking doors! And then that's basically all he does, and then it's just like, okay.
So those 16-foot long pieces of wood, were those the doors?
What?
You said some of the wood was 16 feet long, right?
Right.
Were those for the doors, or what were those for?
I had to cut them at a saw.
Oh, I see.
Size them to protect the frame of the door, so I was basically I was putting wood, you know, around the door, and then I was also installing the panels into the door. Like I was, like, and it got to the point where they had to move, so they moved everything in the whole warehouse so that they could, I don't know, put a whole nother machine in or something, and it ended up just constricting all of our space. And what they did was they moved the panels to the other side of the warehouse that the doors are. So later in my job, I had to lift up these fiberglass panels that like weighed a ton, and I had to carry them all the way across the warehouse over to where I work to install the panels. Like one, and I have to like do one at a time, and then they come over here like, "Oh, hurry up! Come on, hurry up! Yeah, hurry up!" It's like, what the fuck, man? You guys are the ones who put the damn panels on the other side of the room, and then you got some Asian who just comes over here and says, "Come on, you guys, what the fuck, man? Hurry the fuck up!" And then, you know,
That's a very Asian accent.
yeah, he says, "He no get no pussy. He no happy. What the fuck, man?"
He said that at work?
Yeah, he says that at work, and he says she only liked the black cock. She only liked the black cock. Oh, you know, and I mean, this is the guy. His name is Doc that I was working with, and he doesn't even come over and tell me that these panels are done. So I have to go over there, run over there, and check the panels. Like, what the fuck, man? I have no room for panel. You hurry the fuck up, man. Come on. You know, I mean, this is what I had to deal with. You know, and then I get sawdust all over my fucking self, and then, you know, yeah, I mean, it became a problem, and I got fired because of a wood incident. Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. I worked my ass off, and like, they're not. I mean, have fun. Whoever has to fucking have sawdust showers every day.
I don't think you're going to, but do you care to explain the wood incident?
Yeah, I got fired over a chunk of a large portion of wood.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I was terminated of employment.
Alright, I'm not gonna press you further on that. I'm just seeing what you'd say.
Well, you know, it's bad for my new employers, because when I tell them what I do here, then they say, yeah, we don't want you. So no, I can't really, you know, it's not a thing I want to make public. I mean, that's all I have to say, really. I don't want to publicly say what I did because it was fucking stupid, and I would sell my job if I didn't do that. And I was gonna start making $17 an hour because I was gonna move up. But yeah, fucking knock. He don't get the pussy. What the fuck, man?
It sounded like a pretty rowdy environment.
Yeah, then my, you know, the supervisor was like, "Come on, Joe, come on, hurry the fuck up! We're waiting here, I'm dying, Joe, come on, hurry up, you gotta fucking..." Alright, well, I'll go run across the fucking warehouse and then go deal with Knock, who fucked up, like, you even fuck something up, too. It's like, hey, man, this panel doesn't fucking fit, it's not the right size. No, I do the right precision, everything correct. You take it back, come on, just put it in, put the pedal in, come on. And then we would send shit out that was all fucked up just because that's, you know, because we were in a fucking hurry all right now. Just not get it right. It's just, you know, 5 inches too wide, and, you know, it's got scrapes all over it. The wood, you know, the fir wood that's supposed to be all fancy is all fucking got knots in it and shit. It's like, oh yeah, man, just ship it out, buddy.
It had fur over it?
Well, fir, there's different kinds of wood called fir and pine. And
oh, right,
pine.
for F-I-R, not F-U-R.
F-I-R, yeah, that's what I was referring to. The type of wood that they, like, actually, some people actually want to have wooden doors or whatever. It looks fucking ugly. I mean, especially the wood that we had, it was like, what the fuck, man. Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. You ship it out. You. The panel is correct. It's like the hinges are the wrong fucking color. It's supposed to be fucking black, not goddamn fucking satin nickel or fucking brushed chrome, you fucking idiot.
Oh no, this we run out of we don't have no more white hinges. You just do it. Just ship it out. Okay.
So is that Asian guy like your manager or something?
No, he was not the manager. He was this cocky motherfucker who would leave early, and he would just stand around and he would like hold his shoulder, like he would just like stare at you and be like, "Hurry up, come on!" And he would do this thing with his hand, like this hurry up motion. Yeah, I saw that you were streaming, Big Law. We appreciate the raid. A Rollin deep raid. So at the end of this, he's gonna get the B, and he's gonna leave with the B, and then he's gonna do some clips with the B to head back to Bubblegoop Swamp. Clicklock Wood is, you know, pretty hectic in a speed run. So, oh my gosh, he is fucking low riding.
He was sitting sideways.
I mean, you could easily lose your footing there and, you know, have a nice little fall.
Possibly hurt yourself, sprain your ankle, who knows what might happen.
Her ass is too big. It's too big. Too big. Go get the pussy for his wife. He no get the action.
Well, hopefully you informed him that that's the workplace is no place for that sort of dialogue.
That's not where I work. That's sort of like if you don't say something, if you don't say something radical, you can probably get fired. You probably wouldn't last 5 minutes. Like I had to tell this.
I probably wouldn't.
I had to tell this fat motherfucker Mike to get his ass on it, you know, a few times. When they actually called him Little Mike because there was a bigger Mike at one point, so he actually was nicknamed Little Mike, and he's this big fucking.
So what's going on with this run here, RPG?
Well, he's in the winter of Clicklock Wood, which is where the flight pads come in, and he's got to, you know, fly around high in the clouds. And there's this fucking old lady who's just like fucking ridiculous. She said like something like, "I have big, beautiful brown eyes. Like I wouldn't want, like you better wear your goggles. I don't want to see your big, beautiful brown eyes."
She said that to you?
Yeah, she said you have big, beautiful brown eyes.
Well, I guess she doesn't have to worry about that anymore.
No, because I'm gonna fry them watching this Super Metroid gameplay in a little bit.
You're right.
See how that eagle just takes a nice big shit, you know, shits out a nice gold jiggy for you.
Yeah, Steven.
Oh, first try with the window fucking egg pop. That rolls pretty fucking deep. I'm not fucking around now. He's gonna get the clip too. First try. Watch this over Fiend. I'm calling it.
I'm watching.
You want this is a pretty high level clip here. He's gonna nail both of them. Are you ready, over Fiend? Here it is.
Boom!
Oh, we're still flight. Oh! Oh, crispy and crunchy. He's gonna get the second part of the clip over Fiend. Is he gonna do it?
Yes! Yes!
Judging from
Yes!
the going, he did it.
That was very sexual, just so you all know. I think my pinky toe just got aroused. That was fucking clean. Well done, Hellfoes. That was very nice.
We're down to 1 health here. Woo! Living it up!
If he were to die there in Click Clock Woods with 95 notes, I don't know. We might all be a whole year older by the time he gets done with this run at that point. So he's gonna try to get this. Try to get damage while he pops that in, and then he's okay. We're good. We're in there. Just gonna do a little off-screen movement here. Don't tell me we're lost. It's taking a while. No, we're good. We're in there. Diddle dee 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 dee. Yeah, I mean, Overfiend said you'll do very well, Jack. You won't sneeze and cough all over your controller or anything. So he clipped out with the B, and then boom, and then bam, and then he's gonna grab his jiggy, and then boom, he's gonna do a little clippy clip. I'll take another drink of Rolling Rock beer here. It's pretty close. You get the clip. Oh, we got the clip. And so a big thing is all the jiggies in Granny's Tower or Lair or whatever, you can grab as the B. You don't have to listen to the fanfare. Play that out. You just buzzing. Keep on buzzing with your cousin here. Diddly dee 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 dee. Boom boom boom. And there we go. He's got all the jiggies and tower. And here we go. We're gonna do a nice little clip in. Little pop the clip in. Pop the clip in. Here it is.
So, have you authenticated yourself yet, RPG?
Well, for some reason, when I tried to log into a different one, it came up mute, and it's probably it. Let's see.
He's cracking this egg open.
When I went to go contact. Oh yeah, that just logged right in. Well, what the fuck, Overfiend? I can log into the Twitch Help Center, no problem.
Well,
I
can they
can't
help
log in
you?
my. Well, I want to be logged in. I mean, what the fuck, man? What is this sorcery? In fucking just fucking one crispy cunt today. Immediately on about that. Okay, now it works. I fucking. Nah.
I did it!
Yeah, so, I mean, this is kind of new with the bee thing, and he's rolling around, he's rolling deep, and, you know, in Bubble Goop Swamp and Bubble Shit Swamp. Win. Well, you should be able to do whatever with the dashboard now, Overfiend. I mean, you can check, but it
Hooray!
should be good to go. I'm gonna change some Nightbot commands after this, so that way they can root on Jack and, you know, fuck Overfiend.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, so here's another thing where you can move during that, when it's showing you when the turtles are doing that, like it's a new thing on that first one. He's able to move around and start working his way in. Oh yeah. And sometimes it just doesn't accept your ground pound, like right there on that pink one. It's like, hey, you clearly ground pounded it, but, well, I'm not gonna give it to you.
You gotta pound the right areas, RPG.
Ah! That's not sexual at all. And damage boosting your way through here is good because you need to be low health for Death Warp at the end, and it's faster than grabbing the boots. That's definitely the thing. The camera angle here is absolute shit when you're grabbing this jiggy, so when you're Talon Trot jumping and you fall off, I mean, definitely blame the camera in that gameplay. Oh. And having one health here is pretty sketch. If you were to lose Mr. Vile, he would chomp your ass and you'd be dead. But with the help of the speed shoes, it's pretty easy. But I mean, if you're just really fucked over somehow, I mean, you can still lose, but it's a rubber banding effect, so I mean the reason why you would more likely lose is because you don't understand that the more he has, the slower he goes, and the more you have over him, the slower or the faster he'll go. So you kind of just let him fuck around for a little bit, and then he'll slow down drastically, and then you just come in and you just grab all his shit. But he does have 1 health, so like the dragonflies that come down, like they're pretty sketchy in some areas, and you're at a high note, like you're at like your 90 note range here, and if you die to one of the dragonflies, you gotta recollect all the notes again.
I didn't know that about the rubber banding thing. That's interesting.
Yeah, so when, like you saw at the beginning there, he was just collecting items, and that's just to let him get ahead a little bit, and then he'll slow, his movement speed slows down the more he has over you. I don't know, like, at what point does that stop? Like, is it stop after 10? Like, is that his slowest movement speed or something? I don't know about that. But you see, like, how he has 10, 11 to 7, and Mr. Vile's moving, like, super fast here. It's because the rubber banding. And I would say that's why, like, you would possibly lose this, is because you're not aware of that, and then he'll just push you out of the way, and he does, like, move faster than you can move at one point, I think. And he'll just, like, sneak fucking 10 out of nowhere. And it's usually the last one that's the hardest, because it switches between the two, the red and the yellow. And so depending on what's at the top of the screen is what you can eat, and you'll get sick if you eat the wrong one. And what'll happen is you'll, like right there, he was heading for the red one, and like he could have ate it and then got sick, and then next thing you know, Vile's grabbed like 3 or 4 of them because he's fucking running all over the place. It's a scary thing to have 1 health on this and then like get like this is where it would happen too. So I'll let the
Serious time.
yeah, see, he got sick there. Did you see that? He ate the wrong color, and so that it stuns you. It's like, and next thing you know, boom, Vile's got 19.
He can't find food poisoning. Oh,
Never find it.
Oh, come on! Find it! Fucking grab it!
22 to 21. Jesus Christ! I told that last one, man. That's
a
the one that'll
nail-biter.
get you, and then you got to redo it. But you cannot redo it if you die. If you die, then you lose all your notes, and then whatever. Then you got to collect all the notes again because they reset to 0. And then there you go. There's another 4 minutes of note collecting. It's good fun. And you'd have to redo that entire all 3 of those mini games. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but luckily you stepped in just in time to yell at him, and he picked it up.
I'm pretty sure the yelling was delayed to the point where he. Oh my God! A dragonfly! What the fuck?
Yeah, like
Whoa! Did you see that? He's flying right towards him. So if that dragonfly would have hit him, he had 97 notes. I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter. You'd have to. This is 100%. You need all 100 notes, and so you would have to go recollect all 100 notes again because it resets to 0. The jiggies are maintained at all. Like you don't have to recollect jiggies, but notes, on the other hand, it's a high score based system on the N64, so it counts your highest score during that level, and if you die, it goes back to, they all respawn and you have to collect them again. That's not a thing in Banjo Tooie, and that's also not a thing on the Xbox 360, which is a fucking, you know, a shitty port on the that Microsoft did, and I actually fucked Microsoft for buying this game, or buying Rare. They can go fuck themselves with a broomstick.
Wait, what are you having against Microsoft? I missed
They bought Rare.
Okay.
So that's why you can't have good Banjo games anymore. They make games like fucking Banjo, fucking Lego fucking land or whatever they fucking did.
The made of Lego Banjo?
Nuts and bolts? Have you seen that?
Oh, no, I've seen PJ make tweets about playing it. I've never actually watched it yet.
Yeah, no one would ever want to watch it or play it, or, you might as well just burn that thing with fucking, it's kind of like the game ET on the fucking Atari. You might as well just get all the cartridges and fucking put a nuclear bomb
speaking
and
of
just
burning
blow it
things,
all
we're
up.
at Furnace Fun now, RPG.
Yeah, and his ass was on fire there a second ago. So he has gone to Brentilda, and so he should have filled out his calculator, and it should be pretty set what the answers for the running question, and that's really the only random thing. The best part is when you go to a skull square and you try it out, and then you get a grunny question, and then you don't know what it is, and then you die immediately. It's a pretty good one.
Was he doing the skeet?
Yeah, there's a skip where you stand in the far top right corner of the skull square, and you intentionally fail the question, and it'll try to knock you into the lava, but because of where you're standing, you'll get knocked back onto the board, and then you can walk around and skip all the it as normal, as if, and then it also skips the credit sequence that is a a fucking 7 minutes credit thing. It's a huge skip. You can't just speedrun this game and not do it. I mean, if you call yourself a speedrunner, you're fucking doing it.
So if he doesn't get that skip, he'll get above estimate?
Well, he'll die and then he'll redo it.
Oh, okay, you keep going for it.
Retry it again. But you have to go through the whole board again up to that point. I mean, that's about a 2-minute loss each time. Yeah, so that skull square there that he was just on, if that was a grunny question and he had not talked to Brimtilda, there's a good chance that you can fucking have a nice little dilly-dilly-dilly-doo-doo. Yeah, I mean, you can take all the fucking Banjo, nuts and bolts fucking discs, and you can fucking put them into a goddamn shredder and fucking, or what, a crusher. Yeah, that's what you could do. You could put them into a crusher, and you can crush those fucking
The
discs.
trash compactor.
And then you can might as well just throw it in this furnace right here, and just fucking blaze it up and make sure that they fucking incinerate. And then at that point, no discs are runnable, so that way nobody has to go through the horrid, rancid, experience of Banjo Kazooie nuts and bolts on the fucking 360.
Do you think it's worse than Tooie?
It's Banjo Tooie is like a fucking masterpiece, compared to, and that's saying a lot because Banjo Tooie sucks. But it's actually, I mean, after I played it, I have to cut it some slack. Banjo 2 is a pretty sick speed game. It's got a lot of fucking dope strats in it, actually. It's got a lot of interesting mechanics. As a casual game, it can fucking bite my dick and I think he would rather go around and play with sticks and stones outside, and I think he would rather throw stones in a pond with with your buddy Darkwing Duck at that point.
Yeah, maybe you'll find some arrowheads. My uncle actually collects those.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's a better alternative than to play Banjo 2 casually, because you're looking for a big headache and a massive, shitty experience. So here we are with Grunny. Let's fucking finish it out and let's get fucking Jack's fucking lazy ass up and ready to go, man.
So when is time? When is time then?
When he gets the last egg into the Ginginator, So there's this big Jinjo statue, and it has 4 compartments. When he has to shoot 3 eggs into each of the compartments, and when he shoots in the last egg, and it like locks up and it starts to spin, and then that's when you pretty much hit it. Like, you'll know when it goes brr, 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 like with this epic music and shit, and then that's it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, it's the last egg, and then you lose control of your character. That's you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I'll just try to stop it on time, whatever.
It's gonna be later. I'm watching his stream. Are you watching the marathon stream? Is that?
Yeah, well, it's synced. It's just a matter of I have to just stop it on time. But it's synced.
He doesn't have a timer up, I don't think. He doesn't have a timer up on his stream. I don't know what the time it is right now. Oh, we're doing pretty good. It's not these little Jinjo statues, but there's gonna be a big one right in the middle, and that's the...
Yeah. I've seen
run before? Whoa!
I mean, I've seen the end of Stiff's runs, I just don't remember exactly when timing ends.
Well, it's when you put the controller down and pull your dick out.
Okay, well, I'll look for that.
Alright, he's down to 3 health over Fiend. Are we gonna have a wow, we're down to 2 health. We better pick up those fucking honeycombs and do something.
He's confident in his gameplay.
He is, because he's just ignoring those fucking honeycombs, and we're coming. Oh my gosh. I might have to go walk over here and not watch this.
Okay. Well, RPG is walking around, I can hear him. Pacing back and forth. So it ends after this, after he fills up the statue?
Yeah, he fills it all up with hot eggs.
Okay.
Yep, he finished on his stream, so... Done up on
Okay.
your thing.
Okay. That was some sort of 212.
GG!
GG.
Yeah, 212 was really pretty damn good. I mean, it's only, what, 11 minutes off world record? I mean, the game's impossible, so... He had quite the interesting rusty fuck it day. That was very interesting. Yeah, he had to go back to the saw blades, and it's a couple times he fucking scared the shit out of me a couple times. I'm not gonna lie. But he, like, ultimately there wasn't any like huge mistake. There was just, you know, some fuck ups, but you know, it's all good. Right? I mean, you're about to see a lot more fuck ups on this next what?
I mean, you'll probably notice a lot more of those. Mistakes are very noticeable in Super Metroid.
Okay. Well, we can switch over at any time. I mean, the credits don't need to be watched, so we're gonna set up the next one.
Okay, let's do that then. So yeah, just give us a moment, y'all, and we will be back with Jack and I performing
Jacking off.
Super Metroid. Yep, Jack and I jacking off. All over Zeebs. Or Zeb. Or Zebis. Thank you again, Hellfoes, for the run. That was a good one. Prime click.
I'm gonna change